Everyone here has the dream or capability to dream bigger than boundaries of your imagination. Mine is also such a story. While growing up in Andhra, I had the privilege to good education and exposure, which I now realize that are equally essential to develop your full potential. Also, from the time I was young, I've seen my parents work in charity and not-for-profit education institutions, where I've witnessed that it can truly have a positive effect on the very little that you do can have a huge impact on someone else's life and generations to come. It also had an impact on my outlook of life. So also when I was in school, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and all I could remember thinking of was how I could build large enterprises and be the captain of my ship. So while I was driven to the path of finance and entrepreneurship, something kept tugging at me, something which most of you all would have felt at some point of your life. Look at our privilege and look at our country. I recently watched this popular movie it's based on a true story about a man who lived very close to my home in Coimbatore. It's none other than a padman, Arunachalam Muruganandam. So in one of his speeches, there was this phrase where he says, India is land of billion people and billion problems, and hence a lot of opportunities to solve these problems. Indeed, India is a land of many, so there are a zillion problems. So sometimes the gap here is unfathomable, it's even unbearable. So all you need to have is a leap of faith and believe that you can make a difference. So this sums up to what I want to speak to you all today. It is take the lead, take the charge, be the captain of your ship, and be innovative to the context of a country and become social entrepreneurs. So the word social entrepreneurship may not be a new term to most of you all. Many of you would have heard it in different contexts before, and majority of you, I'm sure, believe that profits with businesses and enterprises that have an impact on the community are two different things. But in my mind, when you know the synergy between these two is when you achieve something powerful. Making a difference and finding business solutions to these human issues that we have can have a huge impact on the society. So in this context, I'd like to give you a view of the founder of Ashoka Initiative, that is by Bill Drayton. He says social entrepreneurs are not just content how to fish or teach how to fish. They don't rest until they have revolutionized the fishing industry. So let me be clear with you. So social entrepreneurship is not a charity or not a CSR. Earlier, a lot of times when I have given speeches or when people read about me, the first thing they come and ask me is, in my group, do I take care of CSR? Because they call me a social entrepreneur. So let me be clear. CSR, charity, is not social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is a business by itself which has an impact on the communities and the society. So today I'd like to give Leap Group of Industries as one of the examples that I want to share with you all today. I started my involvement with this group by taking care of the initiatives of the trust. Leap Group of Industries is promoted by the PSG institutions, PSG family, Coimbatore. PSG is known for its large philanthropic trusts and charity across India since the 1900s, and every year it educates nearly 50,000 students a year. So by involving with the family and the organization from inside, I had a deep insight into what very little that we could do has a huge impact on thousands of people's lives. So Leap Group of Industries, a core business is textiles. In 2010, when the manufacturing industry was hit by a power crisis, A lot of industries started laying off workers, and a lot of people started losing their jobs. But we, in a typical mindset, we would all think this is the problem, and we would blame the governing bodies, and because stating a problem is much easier than finding a solution to it. So just think, if our intellectual capabilities are anyway different from that of whom we elect in these governing bodies. So are we capable or not capable enough to change the way that things that we see or we want to see? So not accepting weakness as an answer, we went ahead and we started Leap Green Energy. That is our renewable energy company. We started it as less as 3 megawatts, and we initially found this to produce to meet our own power requirements, and we scaled it to a very large company, and eventually within a year we got funded by marquee investors like JP Morgan, and today we are the top 5 in the country with a portfolio of 1.2 gigawatts across 6 different states in India. So we started this company as a problem. We had a problem to meet our own power requirements, and we found a solution, and the solution led to a very large opportunity. Along the way, at the wind sites, we also recruited people from these rural areas who had no access to education. We skill trained them, and we employed them, we adapted them within our ecosystem. And while we, during our site visits to these wind farms, we've also noticed an immense food wastage in the country. So in 2017 alone, I started doing a little research on how much food wastage has been happening throughout the year in the country, because this is the issue most of us all neglect. So in 2017 alone, we've lost 2 lakh food grains due to bad storage and logistics facilities that we have. So that is, it's the irony here is that when the country is ranking 55th in the Global Hunger Index, we are losing about 20% of the grain that we're producing in the country because of these bad storage facilities, which is equivalent to what a country like Australia can be fed on. So I founded Leap India Food and Logistics about 3-4 years ago, and I got support from, I partnered with Food Corporation of India, and I also work with various central and state governing bodies. I got funded by NEEV, a social impact fund, which is backed by State Bank of India and UK government, DFID. So currently I'm constructing about 4 terminals across different states in the north in India. So also every silo that I build impacts 14,000 farmers' lives. And also previously I discussed about Leap Green Energy. Leap Green Energy has an obvious impact on the environment, and also we recruit people from the same rural communities and adapt them within our group companies. So we provide education through these ways. And in our spinning mills, 25 years ago, female infanticide was such a it was prevalent in the southern regions of Tamil Nadu. People used to consider women as burden and liabilities, and today, because of the spinning mills, it led to a lot of women empowerment, and we recruit women who come from these destitute backgrounds who do not have any access to schooling. So we skill train them, we provide them with dormitories, and we're making them financially independent. So this is a huge impact on the rural communities. And also throughout our education institutions, we've seen children come from poor backgrounds and become entrepreneurs and engineers and get their dignity back in their lives. This gives us a lot of satisfaction. This is the true return on investment, is what I believe for a social entrepreneur. And I no doubt represent a lot of examples of social enterprises, and also a lot of startups nowadays are taking the cue to develop their business models based on the fundamental issues that are being faced in the country. And you also take example of Chetna Sinha. She's dedicated her business to development of entrepreneurship within rural women, and also she developed women-owned cooperative banks across rural areas, and also provided mobile MBAs to these women in the rural communities. So you don't have to be an accidental entrepreneur, social entrepreneur. You're at the cusp of building what could be the next generation socio-economic thinkers. So with one foot in building the state-of-the-art enterprises and the other in building a sustainable enterprise or sustainable communities, walk towards the path of success and do something for the country. It's not, businesses are not just about profits. Trust me, profit making is really fun. You're the future, so you'll know it soon. So, but you need to have your businesses should have an impact on the society, which is what I wish and hope for you all.